Good evening, everyone. As you can all see, Nando is late again. Absolutely useless. So we have some great guests tonight. It was originally just going to be Danny, and then Danny got called into the HQ. So we have Harry joining him as well. So I'm going to bring them up now because I know we've got quite a few questions that have already been asked. In the room, we've also got Lee, Lisa, and Rachel, as well as all the people that have asked questions. So I'll bring the boys straight up and give them the opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we'll get straight into the nitty-gritty and ask these questions. Gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Would you like to briefly introduce yourself to everyone?
My name's Harry. I am the founder of My Haunted Project, and we're in My Haunted Hotel as we speak now.
And I'm Danny, and I am producer of the My Haunted Project, and I am here with the Greek Scouser himself.
So obviously Brett's missing, so you said he was a little bit poorly, but he might pop up later.
Yeah, he may jump on. I've tried sending him the link, but we're having internet issues here currently as we speak. So
that's all right. That's all the ghosts.
It is indeed. Brett may be joining us shortly. We'll see what happens.
No worries. Well, if anyone has got any questions for the boys, please put them in the chat. Like I say, I've already got a few that have cropped up. So we'll ask one from Abby. She wants to know, each of you, what made you come up with the idea of the haunted hotel, and then what made you come up with the idea of expanding into America?
So I bought the King's Head 13 years ago with the idea of putting cameras everywhere, solely because I was sick of watching paranormal shows where everything was caught off camera, and any noise or anything that was thrown, it was always off camera. So I knew of the history of the King's Head. I'd done some events here and knew how active it was. And the plan was to put cameras everywhere, so when anything happened, I'd be able to show it to people and they'd believe you a little bit more rather than just, a bit of hearsay.
Cool. That's fair enough. So what made you go to spread over to America with Daryl?
Daryl came here before last year's Festival of the Unexplained, and we were really privileged to film with him here. And I guess he kind of fell in love with the idea. Obviously, we're in the control room right now, and Daryl came in and had a look around, and he could see how much of an amazing setup that we have here. And, shortly after he got back to the States, he got in touch and was like, guys, we need to bring this over to America. And Brett is here. I have sent the link. So yeah, I mean, we always kind of planned on taking this to America anyway, but probably not so soon.
Yeah, at least it's about 2 years in the pipeline it was, but obviously with the opportunity, we couldn't turn it down really.
Fair enough. Obviously, me and Danny met at the Festival of the Unexplained. Someone had a very bad hangover the next day, but he's still late. He hasn't joined us yet. That picture of him laying on the stairs because you fed him whatever that was neat. I don't know. That was awful, but he suffered for it. Well, you were both suffering the next day. So we'll go on to another question. Hopefully he'll be here in a minute.
You drink beer? Not like you.
No.
Yeah, unlike you. What we were discussing earlier, recently a hockey mask wearing debunker made fun of the project. But people are aware that Beardo came. Why do you think other debunkers still have it in for the project when Beardo declared that there was nothing untoward?
I think with any channel growing, they're going to get some skeptics or people who don't like you, basically, no matter what field you're in. In one way, we look at it as a positive because we're getting known. In this case, not known for the right reasons, really. But I tend to ignore it. I've got no interest what these guys say. you know, they're getting their kick out of our videos. You know, create your own. There's no need for it. We have cameras everywhere, like no other show, and yet you still get called told you're fake, and it winds me up. But I just ignore it now. It's not worth me giving the time of day.
I think behind the scenes, we're all laughing at these guys really because, you know, at the end of the day, you have to take debunkers with a bit of a pinch of salt because they need the clicks and they need the views in order to get the monetization payment. We've got no issues with any debunkers really because we kind of support anybody who calls out fakery in the paranormal field, of which there is tons of it and it's existed forever. But I think some debunkers, they have to clutch at straws, and it's not really become about debunking anymore. I think Steve Higgins, Higgy Pops, covered this in a big article recently, and I think he nailed it on the head. And it's not really about debunking anymore. It's about trying to just get clicks and views and make this shocking content and reaction channel. And, you know, we are debunkers. Harry, Brett and I and the rest of the team here, the team in America, we are debunkers. We constantly sit here and ruin people's nights by telling them what they've captured is not paranormal. I just think any good investigator is a natural debunker at heart. We then don't feel the need to go onto YouTube and spout off about it, really. So it's quite comical. But I think you came across a quote the other day, didn't you? Something like, if you're only talking about us because your content isn't worth other people talking about, basically. So,
Rob, these people, I mean, with Beardo, he was a little bit skeptical. He came on, he changed his mind. These other guys, we've asked them, we said, we'll pay for your airfare over here so you can check the walls, you can check everything out, and you don't hear anything. If anything, they delete your comments. So, you know, can't judge somewhere until you actually turn up yourself.
That's true. That's very true. How are you feeling, Brett?
Hi. Yeah, I'm in quarantine. I'm wrapped up in bed.
Oh dear.
I was at the hotel, but I've had to come home because I was not well. I didn't want to spread my germs everywhere.
Yeah, you've left their handcuffs on the bed.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. They're not there. I thought I took them off first. I'm glad I managed to get on because it was a bit of a mad rush to get back here to be able to in time. But I was listening to you guys beforehand with the debunkers thing. I actually agree. I agree with debunkers. I think there should be debunkers. But I also agree that debunkers should tell the truth. And if they are so about the truth, that is the point of these debunkers, is to be absolutely like on the ball about having these things constantly debunked, but then they'll randomly debunk things with no evidence. Yeah. But they claim that we need to give evidence. So, I mean, the extraordinary claims need to have extraordinary evidence, and that goes for both of us. It goes as being a paranormal investigator, but it also goes as being a debunker who, the guy in question in a mask, commented in one of his videos that a paid-off guest in the hotel was actually a suit of armor in the corner of the room. He thought it was a person. That's how unvalid this guy's opinion is. And to not back that up with any facts, I think is dangerous, actually.
Yeah.
He's actually recently claimed that he's going to delete that original video because, to be fair, and I quote to the hotel guys, he got it wrong and we debunked his claims. So, I mean, that kind of already shows how credible a debunker this guy is in the first place. So, anyway, moving swiftly on to the interesting stuff.
Yeah, okay. So we have a question from Lynn. Says, whose idea was it to go up to the attic? We're loving the fact you did, Mr. Moss. You're going to take a while to shake off your reputation from the festival. See your bad reputation.
Yeah, that's me.
So whose idea was it?
I think it was kind of a joint idea, wasn't it? Really?
I think a mutual decision, really. I said we had a plumber that came out 5 years ago, and he told me there was a little entrance that he could see when he went up to fix the tank up there. And we're always looking for new ideas or new avenues to go down with the pub and to explore the history of it. So we felt with Dan Caravan on board, he's the only one who's not really scared of spiders. And he took the plunge up there.
Cool. That's Lynn also asked, will you put a camera up in the attic?
Ooh.
I think we need to try and find out what is actually up there first. Whether this passageway that moves off to the right-hand side, if it does stretch into other areas of the building, then I definitely think it's something we can contemplate doing. But yeah, we there's a number of things happening right now that are not paranormal, but very much archaeological based here at the hotel, and we're trying to uncover these secrets.
Okay, that's fair enough. James has asked, Danny, what kind of relationship do you have with the doll now? Is she still tormenting you?
I don't really have anything to do with the Grace doll, in all honesty. I'm not here as much as I used to be anymore, because obviously production is ramped up since the American stuff. And when I am here, I don't really go anywhere near roommate. I get the obsession with the Grace doll, I really do, but this building is so much more than the Grace doll, and I just kind of let it go now, because if something happens, we'll get it on camera and it's great. But I think people think that things are happening with this item all the time. It's not. There's nothing happened with it for months.
No, she's been really quiet.
Yeah. So just like paranormal is a rare occurrence, this is a rare occurrence. If we capture it moving, if we capture a voice or anything happening with it, we'll release it and show everybody. But I don't believe that people should come to this building solely for the Grace doll, because the Grace doll is such a small part of that. And we don't even open the room on some nights. And if you're a first timer, you definitely won't get a chance to go into room 8. You know, this building is incredible as it is.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Matt has asked, Brett, what made you want to be a part of the big project? And did you believe in the paranormal before you started at the hotel?
That's a good question. So me and Harry knew each other a while ago from doing ghost hunts and ghost tours around Chester and things like that, probably 12 years ago now. And then Harry called me up to help be a part of this and work it all out. And then eventually we got Danny on board. And I jumped at the chance because I think it's just something so unique. I've said that if this all falls apart, I'll never get another job again, because you can't beat it. You just can't. To say that we can do this day in, day out is just absolutely amazing. And there's very few people in the world that can say that this is their job. So yeah, I think that's amazing. As for being a believer in the paranormal, no, I was fast dead skeptic, did not believe in anything at all. I'm still incredibly skeptical. And I think for you to get the words "that was a ghost" out of me is incredibly rare. I'll now say that I have seen things that I cannot explain. I don't. I have my own theories whether or not it's paranormal, whether or not there's something else involved. But yeah, I'm to say that there's some ethereal being that we just can't quite see in front of us moving things around is a valid question, because it happens. But at the same time, to just jump to that conclusion to me is crazy, and that's why we have the cameras, is to try and prove that otherwise.
That's fair enough. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense as well. I've watched several of the episodes, and it scares the hell out of me, so I'm still not sure I want to come down. Nando's like, yeah, we're definitely going to go down. And I'm like, yeah, but Nando, you're scared of your own shadow. So it's like, there's going to be no chance there. But Let's have a look. We have a message from Claire. She says, "Hi boys, love the Haunted Project. Just want to say keep up the good work and let the haters hate. Too many wannabe debunkers out there trying to ruin decent channels like you."
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lucas has asked, Harry, what made you buy the hotel? And did you believe it was haunted when you purchased it?
Yeah, so again, 13 years ago, my brother took me on a paranormal event. I'll be honest, I think there was about 70 people at Alton Towers at the time, and they were all paying £90 per person. And I thought, right, I'm going to set up a paranormal company up the next day. We were doing places all over the country, and I found them very tiresome. So I said I had a business in Chester at the time. I was looking for locations a little bit nearer. Stumbled across the Old King's Head. Used to go in for my dinner every day, and I then started doing events here. And unlike all the other locations that I did, this one, things were happening every time I came. Whether it was fate, I don't know. So I then said to the landlord, "Can I put some cameras in the rooms when I'm here?" And he said, "Well, actually, I'm selling up." And yeah, and that's where it all began. Really, I took a punt.
Fair enough. And did you believe in the paranormal beforehand?
I hadn't really witnessed anything concrete. Some weird things. Again, in this pub, it was the first time I was getting into bed in room 2, and someone knocked on my door as I was getting into bed, but I was the only one in the hotel at the time, and that kind of made me start questioning things, I'd say. Again, I'm with Brett. I don't know if it's like a parallel universe crossing sometimes, where you might see things, or kind of residual energies. I'm not 100% sure whether it's the dead making a resurfacing in this day and age. I don't know what the answer is, to be fair.
Fair enough. That's cool.
I think if we knew the answer, we'd be out of a job now.
Yes. Any paranormal investigator would be, wouldn't they? Really, in all fairness, if they all said, "Yeah, there's ghosts," that's it, no one would be working. So we have Mr. Baggins. This is the real Zach Baggins as well, because when we had Patty on, it was confirmed it was him in the chat.
Yeah, I believe it.
Because he rung her up halfway through, so it was quite amusing. But he's put, "Gentlemen, recently you've had a lot of skepticism about being fake, the same as we do on Ghost Adventures. How do you personally deal with all the awful comments that these people give you?"
I mean, I'm assuming. Can I put my number in the comments to confirm that this is Zach Bagans? I mean, is that?
Well, we had Patty Negri on about 4 weeks ago, and this popped up, and she was like, "It's not him." And then the phone rang, and he was like, "Yeah, it's me."
Zach, message me on Instagram if it's you, brother. I'll confirm it straight away. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Look, honestly, Rob, it really isn't phasing us at all. This is part of the paranormal. You are always going to get skeptics and believers. The three of us, you've just heard it here from the two of these. Everyone knows my story. I was a complete non-believer before I started. So we are all skeptics. This whole debunker thing that's out there at the minute, it's getting too much attention. And let's be honest, you don't need any skill to be a debunker. Anyone can watch a fake video on YouTube and go, "Look, that is so obviously fake." We've done it all our lives, really. I first met Harry when I was investigating this place, and we used to have conversations about certain TV programs and things like that. So what we just want to get on with our job. What our job is doing is putting a new sort of generation into the paranormal. This is how I believe, personally, I've been doing this for such a long time. This is how I believe paranormal investigation should be done. Long-term, ongoing investigations to recognize patterns, 24/7 surveillance, and bringing in members of the public to have their eyewitness accounts backed up on camera. And that is not being done anywhere else. So it's, we're not the ones being called liars. The members of the public are the one being called liars because it's them having their experiences. But just because you don't necessarily see 45-minute YouTube episode of us going, no, that's not paranormal. No, that's not paranormal, which is pretty much what will happen 90% of tonight, because we've got 5 rooms in tonight. And let's face it, that makes boring YouTube episodes. So we cut down a week, maybe 2 weeks worth of footage, of 24/7 footage. That's all. If it's 2 weeks, that's 6,000 hours worth of footage that we condense into a half-an-hour episode. So when people go, oh my God, there's too much going on, there's no way. Well, that's because we've got 24 cameras here and we've got 6,000 hours worth of footage to go through. So it probably does look like a lot goes on here, but most of our time we are sat here in this control room pulling our teeth because it's so boring.
Fair enough. So one more question from earlier, and then we go on to the lives. And this is to you, Danny, from someone called Danny. He says, Danny, you started on TV at a young age in Hollyoaks and Shameless. Would you ever take up a role on a soap, or are you happy with what you do now?
No, I'm very, very happy with what I do now. I do TV work when it comes to me. I've got one in the pipeline. If it is something that is going to benefit what I do and what I believe in, and if the pay is right for it. If I've never been involved in any TV show that has asked me to go and stage paranormal activity, and if I had it my way, I wouldn't even be on this YouTube show. I'd just produce it away from being on camera. I do not enjoy the limelight of being on TV or being on YouTube, because where as many paranormal people, it's their dream to be on that. Actually, in reality, it's one of the worst things ever, because you just get constant weird people trying to contact you. You get stopped when you're out with your friends or with your family. And the three of us all have strong opinions on it, that it's not actually that great. What I like doing is working in the paranormal. I like it. It's what I've always enjoyed. I'm here to capture ghosts on camera. I'm not here to get famous.
He's only sour about the being spotted because Harry got recognised 3 times today and got called the George Clooney of the paranormal.
It's very true.
He's just sour about it.
George Clooney of paranormal.
Yeah,
I was quite happy with that, Rob, to be fair.
I'd be, mate. So would I be.
You hate it today, you're like, yes.
So Mike Robinson has asked Brett a question, saying, Brett, have you had your bath yet?
my bath. Oh, geez, Mike. I don't have a bath, Mike, which is why I was calling him posh the other day. I just have a shower in this flat, so.
Okay, I'm glad you knew what that was all about.
Yeah, he taught. I put his status up on about being ill and how to get more sleep. In amongst the crazy things was have a bath. That was, yeah.
Brilliant.
I can hear Dan Caravani.
So we've got Lynn Peters has said, Brett, what was your first experience of a paranormal nature? And Danny, was yours at your friend's house?
Come and say hi. Dan.
My first was probably back when I was like 13 and obsessed with. Oh, hi, Dan. Obsessed with watching Most Haunted, and I used to go out with my friends in the woods, and we used to do things like that. And I don't know any of it was truly paranormal, but we remember freaking out in the woods a few times. But my first significant moment that I had in the hotel actually is very similar to what Harry said earlier. I stayed in room 2, and we basically it was this like big knock on the door, and I was the only one there. I was deadbolted in the building, so that's an interesting one.
Rob seems to have gone off the live
He's gone.
feed.
So
I think he
do
may
we
have
take
lost
over
signal.
now? Have we now hijacked his podcast?
We've taken over.
Cool. Okay, right.
So for everyone watching, we are joined by Mr. Danilo Del Caravani himself.
Hi.
who has just come into the hotel to actually fix one of my devices. Thanks, Dan.
It's all good, all good.
So yeah, we're here now, and we've got no one asking us any questions. So
I mean, I've got the chat up here. I guess we could maybe have a few. I saw Lynn Peters ask a question earlier that was quite interesting. They're actually going to the Manor in USA in the summer, and they're asking for any advice on if we were to go to the Manor. I think that's a good question.
Get a decent car. And take your credit card. So, in a nutshell, I promised this big 4x4 that I was meant to get, and I didn't realise I had to take a credit card. I only have debit. This little Hyundai, which was a quarter of the size of most cars over there. So take a credit card then.
We had a bit of a shortage here. Everything just went blank. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Sorry about that.
We carried on. We were asking questions. We're good. We got you.
We're pros.
Down here is fine. I was listening on my phone thinking, fucking reload, you stupid thing. But yeah. If Harry's the George Clooney of Paranormal, Dan and Brett, who are you? And you two have to pick.
Glock 1.
I mean, I have had that before, yeah. I have had that before. Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
That's Danny gone now, isn't it?
Yeah, I have had that before.
I don't even know who I am.
You're that rapping Santa off that advert.
Oh. Brett Jones. Not alive, Brett Jones.
Both of us can play that game.
Stephen Tucker says, what's your funniest moment from the show so far?
Ooh.
Jesus. Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot.
I think mine was watching Danny lose his rag with the doll.
Oh, it's when he kicks
that was quite comical.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Didn't feel it at the time, but yeah, looking back, I was like, oh no.
So
I don't know. Like, some of the scare cams have been absolutely hilarious. The Baywatch moment with Harry and Brett, absolute brilliant. Like, I've never seen such a pair of dad runners almost. Is that the word, dad running?
Yeah, I guess so.
You have dad dancing, dad running.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah, that's an iconic moment, that one, I think.
I was right at the beginning.
Really early on, yeah.
2 years ago. Wow.
Ugh.
I think we have a problem with the generator going off when there's guests downstairs and in the cellar, and one particular lady had quite a lot of surgery in Turkey literally a couple of days before, and the generator went off and she tried to do a runner and collapsed on the floor, and we were all like, oh no. So that was quite a comical moment. So yeah, quite a few, don't we?
Fair enough. Emma Griffiths, any hints on where the third location is and what it is?
It's a place steeped in history, Rob, with loads of paranormal sightings before we've even got the keys. Yeah, that's what we can say, isn't it? Really?
That's it.
Danny's keeping quiet because he knows he's going to let something slip otherwise and he'd be in trouble. So
I did drop a very good hint in a podcast we did yesterday, which is pre-recorded. It's not out yet. But the hint was so good that I basically just said it. But I don't think anyone will clock it.
I clocked it.
You got it. You got
it. It was nice.
Else.
It just slipped in.
Yeah. I managed to actually say the name of the venue without anyone noticing it.
Oh, definitely getting a sack in the morning. Barnsley Bear asks, have you guys ever had a fallout?
Yeah, loads.
Oh, yeah. I thought there was more to that question. Yeah.
No, there's a bit more to that. The other part is, what's the most annoying thing about each other that you don't like?
Ooh.
Oh.
Danny reeks of garlic all the time. He's big on his
Always.
garlic. So in this little small confined space, it's quite pungent.
Yeah. I love it.
Brett leaves his stuff everywhere. Eats a lot of sushi at night times. Leaves his wrappers everywhere.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I'll go on. What's mine?
You forget a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I forget a lot.
Yeah. Harry's best thing is to walk into the room with the best idea ever, leave for never to be seen or talked of again. He's like, guys, I've just had it. Like, My Haunted Manor USA, and then he just leaves, and we're like, and what?
We'll never hear it again.
Yeah, big ideas guy, and just kind of leaves. It's funny.
That's brilliant. Lynn Peters has said, we're off to My Haunted Manor in the summer. Any tips for our experience? Got to say, we're really excited in going.
We've already covered this one, Rob, while you were away.
Well, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I know there's a problem with Brett. He's bloody annoying. It's a show. Have you ever thought of doing a 24-hour live? Did you do that one?
No.
So have you ever thought of doing a 24-hour live feed when the hotel is empty and viewers can see if anything happens themselves?
We do a 12-hour one every day. Actually, people can watch right now. We have 2 cameras on our VHX channel, and literally they stream from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. And they're a massive hit, really. The amount of people that tune in and just watch them is insane.
Cool. Danny, how much has investigating changed since you first started the haunted hunts?
Wow, yeah, loads and loads. I think when I first started, everyone was still into Ouija boards and like dowsing rods and table tipping. So I quickly tried to get away from that as fast as possible. And now it's all about phone apps and K2s and cat balls. I think everybody's got cat balls. I always like walk into a room to film. So there we go. Get your balls out, Rob, isn't it? But yeah, literally, I walk into a room and I'll stand on one because guests just. I think, do you know what? The biggest problem with the paranormal right now in terms of like techniques, there's too much equipment. There's far too much of it. It's everywhere, and I just sometimes think we don't need all that, and especially in a building like this, because most of the stuff is either visual or audible. And I would say, get a camera set up, get a really good voice recorder, a couple of things to measure sort of atmospheres and atmospheric changes, and you're good to go.
Fair enough. So going on from what you've just said, mobile phone apps, do you guys believe they work or not?
No. We actually have
He's looking at everyone else before he makes his decision.
No, out of all of us, I'm the least tech friendly. I mean, I struggle to even turn my computer on most of the time. But I'm a firm believer that just sitting there listening and asking out is the best form of investigating. I mean, Dan's a huge tech phobe, aren't you? You love your tech, don't you?
Love tech. I think it's really, really good, but it's got its place. That's the bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair enough. What's the craziest thing a guest has done or said during investigation at the hotel?
Oh my god!
It's got to be the Chinese guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Chinese guy. Me and Dan were running the night, and he runs into room 8 holding his phone playing Asian chanting music and starts screaming at Grace that he's from the East and she's from the West. And it's the only time I've ever had to kick someone out of room 8 because I thought he was going to smash the place up. It was the most bizarre thing. That whole night was weird.
Wow.
We see a lot of weird stuff in here, Rob, and it's very little of it's paranormal.
Could imagine. Going back to the would you be on a soap, someone's just said that you could replace Danny Dyer and be Linda's husband in EastEnders.
That's fair.
You wouldn't have a clue, would you?
No, I don't watch anything like that.
I didn't know you were on Shameless.
Yeah. I just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always does. He's always the skinhead guy on the TV shows.
Yeah.
You get typecast.
Ruth Weir says, "Are there orbs at the manor? Because Danny says there's not."
The
No.
snow.
Yeah, there's so much dust in that place. It's covered in the hoods, isn't it?
Mm.
That is the thing, isn't it? Is the dust that looks like orbs is the thing that gets people a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I still can't actually believe the amount of people that still think it is paranormal. That's the scary thing.
Yeah. A lot more comments coming in saying, so going forward, Brett, any little hints for the new location? They're asking you because you're the one that's bound to let it slip. So
Yeah, I think so. I'm always the one who's giving the hints. That's why I can't think of anything clever enough now, though. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see if I can think of a hint by the time we finish.
Another Phoebe is put. Are you going to allow guests to go up in the attic?
No.
I doubt it.
That's all right. Danny, do you think we need more para ethics in the field?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Justin Cowell covered this the other night. Companies like ASAP and the UK Paranormal Society. I think if anybody is stepping into the paranormal for the first time, and even most of the people in it, to be fair, go and just read the ethical line up there, like going into people's houses and declaring there's demons there and things like that. It's just a massive, massive no-no. I absolutely blame certain TV shows and I blame YouTube massively. This whole going into abandoned buildings is just the most unethical thing I've seen. But it took off in lockdown, didn't it? Because it was the thing to do in lockdown. And I've never heard of so many haunted abandoned buildings before.
That's true.
Although I'd say our new venue is.
Ooh.
Technically not, but yeah.
I mean, it's not abandoned now.
So it was abandoned. Okay, everyone. You heard it from Brett. It was abandoned.
For a period, a brief period.
I wouldn't even say it was abandoned, but it's been quite sadly the victim of a lot of these urbex paranormal investigators, and even today we've been there and had to deal with those issues. So yeah. I think going into abandoned buildings, sure, if you want to do that, but at least treat the place with respect if you are going to. We know firsthand now how difficult it can be for the owners of these venues.
Yeah. So you're going to get 24-hour security there, Harry?
Yeah. Obviously, we're going to put the cameras everywhere like we have here. There'll be security on site as well. It's not a cheap do, Rob, to be honest with you. You've got to take all this into consideration. And I mean, a lot of people have been throwing the idea around that I'm a multi-millionaire out of this. It's definitely not the case.
Do you not?
No. If it was, I wouldn't sell these two anyway.
I was going to say it wouldn't be wise to tell Danny that.
No.
So
I'd have been buying all sorts of cameras and everything.
Yeah, that's true. We have a question from Lee from Ghost Riders Paranormal Research. A question that you can each answer. What is the scariest experience you have ever had? So we will start with Brett.
There's been a few, but I get scared so easily. I think being in room 8 with the grey stall and the floor felt like it fell from underneath me. And I think this is in an episode, I actually got really angry because I thought it was these two taking the mick, and it wasn't at all. That actually scared me so much that I got angry. That's probably up there, I think.
Okay, Danny?
Probably when I was in Pendle Hill and I had a time slip, lost time consciousness, whatever it was. That was probably the most psychologically disturbing thing I've had, and moments with the Grey Stole as well.
Harry?
I think two instances. One in this building, which was when we were getting a renovation back in 2013. There was no doors in any of the rooms because we were getting new fire doors put in the hotel. I was staying in what is now the museum, and it was a cold November night. There was no heating on because the electric had been turned off as the renovation was happening, and I could physically see the covers wrapping around me tighter until I said, please stop that, and it just loosened. That freaked me out. And then my family had a chain of fish and chip shops, and one in particular in Manchester had a flat above it, and I was having a bit of romance with my current fiance in the early stages, and it sounded like the place was getting ransacked downstairs. I could hear people running up and down the stairs, multiple people, pans were moving, and I had to build up the courage to go down and have a look, and there was nobody there. And I checked all the perimeter of the place, no one about, and that was pretty freaky. That scared me a little bit, that one.
Okay, and over to you, Dan.
I think for me, I was 15 and I'd gone over to my girlfriend at the time's house. I was sat in the living room, kept hearing all these stories about how haunted this house was. Never believed them. I was very skeptical. And I can describe it. It sounded like someone dragged a washing machine across the kitchen room. I went in not expecting to see something wrong, but see an actual person who had broken in. Just nothing at all out of place.
Weird.
Freaked me out.
Yeah, I think that would freak me out as well. Lynn Peters says, Dan and Brett, have you been seeing any more butterflies?
Oh, the card. Yeah, Harry reopened it the other day, actually, funnily enough. And he was, what are all these butterflies? I walked into the office, they were everywhere. Yeah.
What butterflies?
I've got them somewhere. I don't know.
They're like fold-up butterflies that you kind of wind up.
We'll find them.
Like, fly in your face.
God.
As long as it's not a spider.
Watch Danny run if it is.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously, Rob, this new location's got the most epic Goliath spiders you've ever seen. They're horrible. Yeah, so it's these things.
See, he jumps at that as well. I don't know. Daniel Winter from Portal to the Paranormal. You met at the Festival of the Unexplained, Danny. He says, when are you coming down to the South Coast? Because they want you to go to one of their events as a guest.
When I get some free time. This is a very, very full-on job that we do here. So, I mean, I don't even get time to go out and film my own stuff anymore, hardly. It's a full-time job for a reason. And, when you're running the world's most documented investigation, it really does take up your time, but it's amazing. We wouldn't have it any other way.
Perfect. What are your guys' favourite thing about working at the hotel? And we'll start with Dan number 2 this time.
Number 2.
Caravani.
I think it's kind of seeing how evidence is repeating itself and how it's been documented over time, because it's just something you never get to see anywhere else. It's so unique. Okay.
Harry?
I'm going to say this, but it's working with these guys. I've had quite multiple businesses in the past and I've never really enjoyed what I've done. I really enjoy this project. I love the fact that we went to America. Obviously a little bit skeptical of how you're going to get on with 2 guys for 8 days, and I had the best time ever. So yeah, the project's amazing, but working with these guys makes it a bit more special.
Brett?
Yeah, I think I would say that the project, even though we'll have disagreements because we all have different opinions on how things run, it's always being done for the best thing possible for the project, you know, whether it's tweaks to the show and the production side or how the events run. I think it's very rare you find three people all together that can spend a week in America in the same house and never really spent much time outside of work. And we all got on really great. And the disagreements are actually a good thing, because it means that I think if we didn't disagree, all three of us wouldn't be needed. So I think it's I definitely think working with these guys and now Dan and Gibbsy and Saz and stuff are part of the team as well. The guys in America working along with those, they're all amazing as well. So I think it's the team in general that makes it worthwhile.
Cool, thank you. Do you think the paranormal field has forgotten the point of investigating in favor of likes, clicks, and monetization?
Yeah. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I mean, years and years ago, it was about real research and real kind of documenting experiences, going in with a pad and a pen and documenting those moments and real love for it. And yeah, it has unfortunately become about trying to get as well known as possible. And, I think once you reach a point that you've been in the paranormal for so long, you kind of fall out of love with it. But then if you fight through that, you realize that you can fall back in love with it for all of the right reasons. And that's kind of personally where I'm at now. I was massively falling out of love with it, and I still am in a way, but then I found this project and was lucky enough to be asked on and fell in love with it all over again. So, and I guess it's all individual sort of perspectives on how everyone individually feels, but that's personal for me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone want to add anything to that?
Yeah, in regards to the shows that we do, that's not our priority. The priority is the guest experience when we come here. So despite any skeptics or whatever, or debunkers giving us shit, 99.9% of the people that come here have a great night. Even if nothing happens on the night, they all go away and most of them return again. So that's our priority. It's not the show. It's getting our word out there and how we do things and people's experiences and enjoying the general public enjoying what we do.
Yeah, that sums up basically what Lynn says. She says, you're all amazing people and your energy is felt when they come and visit. You make them all feel like family.
Oh, bless.
Lee has asked Danny a question. Danny, when you were going out and doing ghost hunts, what was the most active place that you've ever been to?
Salisbury Hall in Lancashire is a really, really active one that I've been to. Others were very disappointing, such as the Ancient Ram Inn. I didn't really get the hype around that place so much. Most of them were overhyped, in all honesty. I think only a few were really genuinely had moments that I couldn't explain. So yeah, Pendle Hill, that whole week there was fascinating. Salisbury Hall. But I'm not just saying this because I work here. I've been investigating this place since 2014, 15. Way before this project started. This place is extremely unique, and it has something about it that you get a real sense that you can uncover history here and almost put yourself into a bit of a time slip where you could see what Chester was like and what this building was like during the 1600s.
Brilliant. Would you ever consider opening something up down the south end, this area?
I'm open to any suggestions. We want to take over the UK first of all. America was never our intentions, but we want to be able to make it accessible for people to travel only an hour to get to my haunted location. and Scotland, Ireland. Never know what happens. Let's see what happens.
Well, you are a millionaire after all, Harry. So you know,
Of course.
you can afford all these lovely things. I think that's all the questions from everyone in the chat. I know you guys are busy because you've got guests in tonight as well.
Yeah.
So we are coming up to the hour mark. So if you guys want to say your goodbyes, I'll be more than happy with that because I think we've had a great chat. So you guys can look after your guests and Brett can get some much needed rest.
Oh yeah, I'm going straight to bed now. I'm already here. The hat comes off when I'm done.
The hat comes off and the hoodie, I hope.
Oh no, I'm freezing cold. I'm staying clothed.
That's it.
Yeah, I think just on behalf of all of us, just a massive thank you for the support that everyone shows us. We're doing this for the good of the paranormal, really. We want to help educate people, but also open these places up for everybody to come and work with us and have a chance of featuring on an episode. Is most importantly, it's about backing up what the guests experience. It's not so much what we experience here, selfishly, but it is about the guests and everyone who comes to all these locations, whether it be here, whether it be in Pennsylvania, or whether it be at this new location when we open it. Just everyone try and enjoy the paranormal again, really. That's kind of the big thing. We're all a friendly group of people and we have a laugh here, we have fun, but when it's time to work, we work as well. And it's about trying to actually prove to people out there that weird stuff does happen.
Yeah. Get that even balance kind of like thing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So one last question from me then, Danny, and I know what you're going to say, but do you believe in the word para-unity?
No, I don't. Only because I've seen it branded around so often. What this could be classed as para-unity here. We're working with different teams. We collab with different teams all the time. Everybody who comes here is either involved in the paranormal or has a massive interest in it. And it's just about working with people. But the paranormal has become a place where there's agendas now and there's people who want to get to where they want to get. We've seen that loads with some people who come here who want to kind of use the project to elevate themselves. And, the debunkers want to use us to get the clicks and views. So it doesn't exist. And I think we all need to stop kidding ourselves. How about just everybody be normal human beings, be nice human beings, and let's all just get on and enjoy it for what it is. And maybe at the end of it, we can all go out and have a drink together and have fun.
I'm not drinking with you ever again.
Yeah.
Never again. Never. Well, I would like to say thank you very much for coming on the show. I've been wanting this since the Festival of the Unexplained to get all three of you on. So, and I keep saying to Danny, is this day available? Is this day? And he's like, no, too busy. But it's all right. It's nice to actually get to chat to Brett and Harry as well, and yourself, Dan.
Likewise.
Thank you for not taking the piss out of me for the cup final, Danny. That was much appreciated. Because as you remember, I am a Chelsea fan, so I do appreciate you not taking the piss out of me too much.
No problem.
I hope tonight goes really well with all your guests. Brett, thank you very much for taking the time out knowing that you're ill as well. So
no, it's all right. Thank you for having us on.
That's all right. I look forward to the new location. Me and Nando will book soon and come up if we can.
Absolutely. Hope to see you.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, cheers, guys. I'll put it in the green room, and then you guys can shoot off, and I'll say my goodbyes, etc. All right, good luck, guys. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye. What a lovely bunch of people. They are absolutely amazing. And I totally agree. The debunkers have given them lots of shit. And it's about time they leave them alone now. That being said, thank you very much for everyone that's come into the room tonight and been chatting to us and asking the questions. It's been really nice to see so many new faces, and it's much appreciated. Poor Brett, not very well, but still made it onto the show, so I appreciate that. So that's it. Nando didn't make it, so he's fired. No, not really. He'll be back on Monday. So Monday night we have a musicals night. So if anyone wants to join us at 7 o'clock on Monday for musicals, feel free. And then next Wednesday we have the lovely Penny Morgan on the show. Okie dokie. That being said, this is Big Rob, all on his own, signing out for the evening. Thank you. God bless.